Hey everybody, and welcome to Twist Happy Hour, where Kate and I talk about everything, anything, and all the things in between that pop into our heads. So if you miss talking to your girlfriends about random stuff, we got you covered. So today, I'm going to be drinking an orange blossom mojito, which is just orange syrup, lime, a little rum, and some sparkling water, and obviously some mint. It's delicious.
Love it.
So far.
It's funny to me that our first couple of episodes are like mocktail episodes. I am going friends friendly, and I am drinking okay. So I don't make my own cocktails like Karen because I'm not fancy. So I got Amalfi Spritz, Lear's Amalfi. I've never had this ever. I don't.
What's in it?
I don't even know what an Amalfi Spritz is. What's in it? Not alcohol.
Not alcohol. Okay.
Everything else on the can is too small for me to read.
That's too standard now. You're just drinking canned mocktails.
I am too old. Well, we know that the last episode, the Paloma Recess was not my favorite. Now, I'm not writing off this brand. However, I might try a different flavor the next time. I don't know what is Amalfi Coast a real drink?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah. I didn't even know that part.
So what do you want to talk about today? What's on your mind?
This is better. I like this. I like it. It's like almost like an Aperol Spritz.
Oh,
it's got that kind of vibe.
Aperol. I hate
yeah, it's like cilantro for people. It's like they love it or hate it. I don't have any issue.
What is medicine to me?
Isn't that so funny?
Syrup taste. Both.
I guess it depends. Depends what kind of cold syrup you got as a kid.
My sister literally stayed hydrated in Italy on Aperol spritzes. Like no water, just Aperol spritz every day.
and as is her right to do so.
Right, yes. And I just drank really good Italian wine, but still good.
Which not as hydrating.
Not as
hydrating. So I have been dying to talk about the celebrity mysteries, right? And one of the biggest celebrity, it's just my thing. I just I get it in my head. I get obsessed with these things. One of the biggest celebrity mysteries from 100 million years ago is the Natalie Wood mysterious death.
Right? Now remind me what movies she was in.
So she was in Rebel Without a Cause. She was in, obviously, Miracle on 34th Street when she was a little kid. She was in West Side Story. She was kind of becoming the big thing.
She was like the it girl.
She was the it girl back in the day. And when she was, it was interesting when I was researching her life story for this. There were so many things that I was like, wait, what? So she was married twice, maybe 3 times, actually. I think she had a very brief marriage in the very beginning, and then she got married to Robert Wagner.
Okay.
And she met him when she was 10 on the set of 20th Century Fox. And they were not in a movie together or anything. She just met him. And she told her mother she was going to marry him at 10, which is weird. He is 6 years her senior.
So he was 10?
Oh no, he's 8 years her senior. So he was 18 and she was 10. So which is not great. And then
girls get crushes on guys, they just that idol worship thing.
Yeah, I mean we all, had that. We all had that Eddie Furlong poster, I mean, what do you do? But then the studio actually set them up when she turned 18.
Oh.
So it was interesting. And they did it as a publicity thing. Yeah. And then they actually hit it off and it worked out and they got married.
Oh.
And they were married for a really short amount of time. And the thing that people don't, I know people have probably heard this story about she didn't like the water and it's all mysterious because why was she on a boat in the first place? She didn't like dark, deep water. She wasn't a great swimmer. Okay. But they spent their honeymoon yachting around the Keys and stuff. So she wasn't unaware of boating and she had enough prowess to kind of know what was going on and all that stuff. So, I had always kind of thought that she was like, I'm not even going near pool, but she was not quite there. So they were married for a little while, but then it got really tumultuous. His career was not taking off as quickly as hers, as often happens in Hollywood, especially around that time. God forbid you get a strong, powerful woman.
No.
Makes everybody mad. So then she was in a film with Warren Beatty.
Okay.
And then there were rumors flying about that she was having an affair with Warren Beatty, and it just put more pressure on their relationship, and they ended up divorcing.
Yes.
And so the interesting thing about it, that is that she remarried this other guy and had 2 kids with him.
Okay. Wait.
And then this is her second husband.
Okay.
And then they break up.
Okay.
And then she goes back to Robert Wagner. Like, they ran into each other at a party and they kind of like rekindled their love. And then it was gangbusters after that. And so they were married to other people they were apart for like 11 years.
Okay.
And then go ahead.
Did he have any kids or get remarried?
So I just lost 2 lights.
The flicker.
That's crazy. So they had 2 kids. She had 2 kids, and then I think he had 2 kids with this other wife, or maybe 3. So yeah, so he was married and then had like 2 or 3 kids. They all break up. They get back together. So now he's kind of a rising star, because this is when Heart to Heart was taking off and all this stuff. And she was kind of like, I think I might be done with acting. I'm going to semi-retire, chill at home, be a mom, because then they had a child together. So she was like, I really want to like do the whole
money.
Yeah, just chill. And then, so that was in 1972 that they got back together. And then they had 9 years later is when this boating accident happened, that she doesn't come off the boat, right? Yeah. So here is what we know. And I always found this really interesting because Christopher Walken was on the boat. And I was like, why is it like the 2 of them and Christopher Walken and then just like the boat captain? Yeah. And apparently they invited a bunch of people because they were going to Catalina. They invited a bunch of people. Everybody turned him down except for Christopher Walken. And he had just done a movie and he was like living his best life. So he's like, I'll go on the boat. So here is what we know about the whole situation. And the viewers can decide on their own what is fishy and what is not. So they got to Catalina. They went on shore to go get dinner. They took the captain with them. So the 4 of them, it was Christopher Walken, Robert Wagner, Natalie Wood, and the captain. And his name was Dennis Davern. They went to have dinner that night. The manager of the restaurant, when they left, was worried that they would not make it back to the boat because they were pretty sauced.
Okay.
And ultimately, when they did Natalie Wood's autopsy, her autopsy showed 0.14% alcohol, which is very high. For those of you that don't know, high blood alcohol is considered 0.08%. So hers was 0.14. So that's
more than double that almost.
Pretty crazy high. So then they went back to the boat. And that was at 10:30 at night. Okay. Let me look at my notes, everyone. So the manager at the restaurant clocked that they left at 10:30 because that was important. So this is where the stories start to get a little convoluted. So originally, when the police questioned Robert Wagner, he said that he and Christopher Walken had been having an argument. Natalie was not present for that argument. And he thought she was like, ugh, I've had it and I'm going to bed, right? And then also there was like a broken bottle of wine on the boat, and he told the police that was from the tumultuous seas and whatever, and it fell and broke, right? So at 11:05, so 10:30 they leave the restaurant. 11:05 is when they realize that Natalie is not on the boat anymore. So only like half an hour to 20 minutes has passed. I mean,
now,
depending on how long it took them to get back to the boat.
Are they on their way back to the mainland at this point, or like?
No, they took the dinghy to the mainland, had dinner, leave the restaurant, go back to the dinghy, take it and back to the boat that's like anchored offshore.
Okay, so off of Catalina. So that's not very far.
Right. So half an hour.
Yeah.
So they don't call it in until 1:30 in the morning. She is missing from 11:05 to 1:30 a.m. without anybody. I mean, this yacht is not like yachts of today, okay? It's not like a yacht that you see.
It's hard to lose someone on a yacht.
It's like a normal size 1970s yacht. So you can walk it in, a minute and a half. It's not humongous.
Hide.
Right. So, and then they found her body. So it was called in 1:30. They found her body at 8 a.m.
Okay.
Originally, Captain Dennis Davern goes with Robert Wagner's story. Okay. He's like, yep, that's totally what happened. Whatever. Now he has claimed that is not what happened. And interestingly enough, Wagner's story has changed a little bit too. And he wrote like a book about this whole situation and his life and everything. And in it, he says that Natalie was present for the argument and that there was some jealousy about her and Christopher Walken's relationship.
Okay.
So all of this is very interesting, mysterious, and so on and so forth. And then Davern, the captain, has said that he has now come out and said that he heard Natalie and Robert Wagner fighting, and then he heard silence. And he said it sounded physical, and then he heard silence. So remember the bottle of wine that I said that he said like, he told the police it fell over. Well, then he recanted that story and said that he broke the bottle of wine, Wagner.
On someone.
So I guess he like smashed it somewhere. I don't know, but why are these stories so different, right? And now I'm giving them all the, they were drunk. I get it. What's really interesting about this whole thing to me is Christopher Walken. So he gave his report to the police, which is that he was not present for any argument. That Robert Wagner and Natalie Wood started getting into it, and he was like, I'm out, I'm going to bed. And then he didn't know that Natalie was missing until the next morning when he woke up.
Huh.
Which doesn't follow the original story either, that they knew that she was missing at 11:05. So all of that is really, really fishy. But what's really interesting, everybody that talks about this case, the thing that they're like, well, it's really interesting that they would think that she would, go near the edge of the boat. One of the Robert Wagner has speculated that she heard the dinghy banging up against the side of the boat and went to tie it off and like slipped and fell in. And she was wearing her pajamas and a coat. And so it's just a little bit of a strange outfit to be wearing to go like tie up the dinghy, whatever. And also, like, she was leaning over in the water and fell in. I don't know. I mean, she was clearly very intoxicated. It's possible, I guess.
I mean, why woken her up, and then she was like, "Oh, that's so annoying." And then she throws a coat on, and goes upstairs.
Yeah, but like, also, this is a rich Hollywood actress. Like, wouldn't you ask Captain Davern to do it? I feel like I would. I don't know.
So tumultuous. Maybe he had to steer a boat or something.
It's all just very interesting, and I think the most interesting part is Walken, because he isn't talking about this. He has done so many interviews and he's like, I'm not interested in talking about it. He once said, my favorite quote was when he actually in 1997 he did an interview with Playboy. And he said that was when he said that she went to bed before he and Wagner, which was different than his original story. And then in another interview, he had told somebody, I don't want to talk about this, it's a bore. And that was like a year after her death. And I was like, that's an interesting thing to say.
Word by somebody dying?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just like, this is supposedly your friend. It was really, I don't know. It was just a very strange.
So Christopher Walken's quite the character, as we all know, right?
Right.
He's known for his eccentric characters and roles. Was he that way before the boating accident? or did that make him more crazy?
I don't know. Because I don't know him personally. However, I did see Dead Zone, which I think might have been recorded before this incident took place. Like, I think that might have come out before then. And he was strange. Like, it was, I mean, he's great at playing strange characters, right? Yeah. So, like, there has to be a little bit of him
too.
I don't think he's like a method actor. I think he's like, puts a little himself in each role. So I think there's a little bit of oddity in, and he likes to take strange roles, so which leads me to believe that, you know. But what's also really interesting about this case is that the police have reopened this investigation in 2011.
What?
And we still don't know. So now it's been years and years and years and years. I don't even know how, over 30 years. And they're still investigating this as an open case. It's not a cold case. Like, they reopened this as a open case. They did a new autopsy. There were abrasions on her body.
Okay.
That originally they were like, well, that could have been the fall if she slipped. Now they're saying that those abrasions do look like maybe physical altercation abrasions. So there's some of that. And the police that are investigating this have said there is enough evidence to reopen this case and continue this investigation, which is just mind-boggling to me.
So I love the show Bones, and all I can think about is, I'm like, forensic anthropology. Okay, so what would Bones say?
Yeah, where's Christine? Where's Christine when we need her? Come on, girl. Yeah, it's just a very strange case. I know that a lot of people have speculated about things. Robert Wagner's, in preparation for this episode, I watched a documentary Robert Wagner's daughter did, who is not his biological daughter. It is his Natalie Wood's child with her previous husband. Okay. And she very much thinks that he played no part. There was no foul play. She did her documentary from that viewpoint. Yeah. But then there's also a 48 Hours episode about this case, and it was very different. So, you know, I guess we're just going to not know until either the police find something out or new evidence comes out, or
it's another 30 years and DNA testing changes.
It is a real head scratcher. But you know, it's funny. I was thinking about it. I was like, the thing that everybody hones in on is like her fear of water. And her sister in the 48 Hours episode talks about, you know, she would have never gone near the water. She would have, you know, we've all made bad decisions when we've been drinking. And sometimes you think like your fears are not at the top of your, you know, worries when you're
kind of get diminished too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm invincible. It's fine.
So, yeah, I don't know. What's most concerning to me or most interesting to me is the change of stories.
Yeah.
And the fact that Chris Walken, what's up, dude? Like,
no part of this.
It just, the way that he's portraying it makes me think he knows more than he's saying.
And he probably does, but he just doesn't want to get dragged into it.
Which,
I mean, you blame him?
I don't know. Hollywood's a strange place.
Yeah, that's why I stay on my side of the 405.
Yeah, I think that's a wise decision. But anyway, yeah, so that was my hot topic for today.
Oh, exciting.
Do with it what you will. Comment if you have any new information. I'd love to know.
Like, save, comment, right?
Right.
Until our next episode, when we talk about anything and everything that's plaguing our minds this week. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks for sticking with us.